Hey, Barrett. I think it's just you, Barrett, by the way.
Sorry,
I said, hey, Barrett. I think it's just you, by the way.
it is me.
It is you. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yeah, really good. Really good. So
Hi.
you're here, others aren't. So let's begin and dive into the benefit of
Øh,
the recording.
lad det simre i 10 minutter med lyd.
Um, on
Okay.
the topic of pitching your coaching. Oh, your daughter cooking. I love it.
Yeah.
On the topic of pitching your coaching, how can I help? What's your biggest challenge? What's your question? Fire away.
Mm-hmm. Um, Pitching my coaching. This must be like when I meet people like everywhere and tell them I'm a coach and what kind of coach. Hmm? So
That would be part of the pitching part for sure. Yeah.
or maybe you mean like in the end of a call and you wanna invite them to buy a
Both. Both.
both.
Yeah. Which
Well, let me
which
think.
bit do you find most challenging?
I think the first.
Okay. Actually engaging with people about coaching.
Yes, actually that. Just having oh, I stepped into my outside office.
A nice.
Let me know if it
Yeah.
sounds good. So I don't really meet a lot of people at the moment. I am spend a lot of time with my new boyfriend. Interesting choice, maybe. Um, and then I do have some work.
I'm curious. My
Oh, I
humor me.
can't hear you.
I said humor me. What's an interesting choice? Time with the new boyfriend or the new boyfriend?
I don't know what to say to that. Spending the time there, yeah, instead
Okay.
of meeting a lot of new people
Okay.
and taking care of having new jobs like in taking care of gardens and stuff like that. So I don't meet a lot of people, and also it's something about my living state that for me means that I'm not there yet where I want to help people to go to, if you know what I mean. Just lost one job, so I'm looking for another. So that is like the base of my life. Still,
Okay.
that's the main thing. Realizing that I'm actually, yeah,
So
not living the life I want to yet.
let me dive in just because here's what I'm hearing. So I heard new job, ended a job, new man in your life, some stuff around home environment, haven't been engaging, networking, meeting new people recently. Um, I think it's fair to say all of those things are going to have an impact on growing a coaching business, which isn't a bad thing, but obviously you're working on other elements of your life, and you, as the saying goes, you get what you focus on. So if you were giving lots of attention to getting people to know that you're out there coaching, you probably would be having people on the phone, engaging, having trailers. But the fact is, you're in a new relationship, transitioning with work. So I think um, the bottom line is your, I say it's not your biggest problem. Your biggest challenge is like, how do I say this? It's almost like there's no point us talking about pitch until you first are. It's almost like if you and I were playing basketball and you said, "Can you help me?" Hi, Hillary, hi, Darcel. And you said to me, Barry, you said, "We're playing basketball. I'm a coach," and you said, "Can you help me with my shooting?" And I said, "How many shots have you taken in the last week?" And
Yeah,
you
one.
said,
Oh yeah, 0.
humor the story for a second. Like, but let's say you've done none, but you've just said there one. That that isn't enough shots to get like a consensus for people to know that you exist. Like, it's just not. So it's not a. The key thing to know is this is not a criticism. You're going through a new life transition, new relationship, new career changes, etc. So if it were me, I would be focusing on stabilizing in those other areas first. And then once I've got a new normal established, that's when I'd be considering um, then moving forward on coaching. It's like I didn't do much marketing activity when Zen was born because obviously being being a dad and being husband to Sati, like that was the most important thing. I wouldn't have said to my mentor, "Oh, my business isn't growing," because he'd have said, "You just had a baby, so." And so you've had new relationship, new job. So it's almost like it's inevitable that coaching isn't growing because you're growing in other areas. So I think it's about
Exactly.
acknowledging that, accepting that, and then deciding, okay, this is when I'm going to start putting in more effort to my coaching, if that is in fact your intention.
It is.
Cool.
It was nice to put some words on that. Thank you.
Oh, good.
So, yeah,
Good.
that is helpful. That's all I need actually right now. Recognizing where I'm at.
Good. I'm really happy for you, Barry. Really happy. Some really good new things there, it sounds like.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hillary
Thanks.
Darcel, any questions, Hillary Darcel, regarding pitch? You just caught us, me and Barrett, in the middle of a conversation around it. But any questions that you have tonight around pitching?
I think pitching, I did my business pitch yesterday morning to a group. It went very, very well. They were extremely open, but I also recognized it was an area that I felt very comfortable with. So it's a question of tweaking the pitch towards a higher level, executive groups and that kind of thing. So that would be to direct in that area, choosing the ideal vocabulary. I think that would be my thing, is making sure that it's solid. Because as I said, it was different in this situation because everybody it was more around personal development. And I knew that when I went in that I could discuss those kind of things, not towards growth of company. And that's where I would want to feel more confident in that area of pitching up. So did I throw my question at how to go about doing it? That would be the question, how to go about doing that to up the scale.
Okay. So I'm not clear on the question. So if you could reword it.
Okay.
So because what you did is you gave me a lot of context and then a tiny bit of question at the end. So I didn't quite catch what the question was.
Okay, so the question would be, if I were going to approach an executive group, business group, not the kind that I had yesterday morning, more on the higher level, how to go about presenting to them the same material that we use, like the movie trailer, but to use it in a higher level for business, with the focus more towards production and retaining, that kind of thing.
I'm curious, Hilary, why do you feel that it needs to be different than what you've already done?
Not with the one that I was in, but for example, I'm going into another company where to look at possibly one in which they are more high end. They are, so in order for me to have the vocabulary to use in that area, that would be more in the area of saying, okay, I can help you towards, retaining, etc.
I got it. So here's a common misconception. It doesn't matter what level the business is at, there's people. They're just people. So the way that you approach it is exactly the same. Doesn't need to be any different. Having knowledge about their organization, that's different. And so I recommend having knowledge so that you can link what you do to a tangible benefit that's understood to them. That's different. So if I were working with an independent gym or a cluster of gyms, then I would want to understand the dynamics of the cluster of gyms. How many general managers are there? How many regional managers are there? What's the engagement like between the regional managers and the general managers? What's the culture like? Is there a culture? Have you had learning and development before? What was it like? Was it good? Did the team receive it well? Did they not receive it well? How long ago was that learning and development? Was it in-house or was it out? I need to know all those things. But then when I'm in there, I'm delivering it like exactly the same. I don't change. If I let's put it in, let's go. Let's put business aside and just go normal people. If I was coaching a regular person on the street or dream client, Barack Obama, the coaching call would be exactly the same. Exactly the same. No difference. No difference.
Fitting human needs.
For sure, exactly, yeah. So having a deep understanding for the organization and what their wants and desires and needs are, that's different.
Okay.
The delivery of what you do doesn't need to be any different than what you've just done. If the feedback's great, they loved it, amazing, this new, whoever high-end company, treat them exactly the same.
Okay.
Whatever you do, don't treat them different because you think that there's some high level, there is no, one of the biggest things I really focus on doing is when I go in is remove the hierarchical myths, which is why I always, if I'm coaching organizations, I always say, if you're the CEO or the MD, you need to be in the training. Oh, but I'm too busy to be. Look, if you don't attend the training, you will not have the respect. You'll not have the respect of your team, and you will not have they will not buy into the training, which will mean that it's completely pointless. There's no point you bringing me in. If you aren't going to sit in with them, don't bring me in. You need to show them that you are a leader that leads from the front and walks the walk and isn't a paper pushing, pay for an invoice, get people in for training, and then sit in your boardroom pretending you're above training. Yeah, so things like that, I'd be really stressing because I said that to CEOs before, and they often don't like it. I don't think they expect that I'm going to come in and be as bold as that, but I'm like, and then they respect me more because I'm willing to say what they need to hear, which is you need to attend the training. If you can't buy culture, you have to be part of it.
Right, right. Well,
That's
both
the-
points I think are fundamental. I got great feedback. I got a second call on the one from yesterday. So, they're sending me a testimonial. So that I will. The question will be just go ahead and do the homework, and also make sure that in the future that, as you said, to have CEO or whoever else be present. So, note taken. Thank you.
Good, good. Welcome. Keep me posted on how it goes.
I will.
Darcel, you know how to do.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello,
hey,
everybody. I am all right. I am going to actually take what you said to Barrett, maybe in a different context, but I am in, I suppose, I'm trying to be very positive about it, but it is a very challenging period of my life right now. And I feel like the curveballs just keep coming. And I feel like anytime I try to look at the business, it just feels like I'm fighting against something. And I think maybe it is a season where I have to just pause and sort out the immediate things like finding a home for my family. So yeah, I don't think from a business perspective, because there's all of this other stuff happening. I don't have a clear mind. So I feel like there's no point me trying to, you know what I mean, work towards anything right now, because even if I were to pitch, the reality is I don't have time right now to do trailers so I think I'm going to take a bit of what you said to Barrett and just kind of accept the season that I'm in and deal with the things that kind of need to be dealt with in a pressing manner. And once those are dealt with, I'm hoping that I would have a bit more clarity to then go back in and do the things that I need to do.
sounds smart.
Yeah.
Sounds smart.
Yeah. It's frustrating because I feel like I keep coming up against these okay, baby, sorry. I feel like I keep coming up against these stops. Like every time I try to make some headway, then something will happen. You know, it was summer holidays and I couldn't work. And now we're on the other side of that and I still can't work because then now there's this pending move. But I am sure that there is some growth that needs to happen in this period. There's definitely something for me to learn. So I think I just have to embrace it. Otherwise, I'm just going to be fighting against myself and not winning.
Mm. I listened to an Eckhart Tolle audio yesterday, which I've heard of several times. I did a podcast about it. I don't know if you heard yesterday's one, but called Your Life the Movie. And did you hear it?
No, I don't think I did. I think sometimes when I click on the podcast you sent, it just sends me straight to Spotify. And I think I end up listening to a different one than what you send that day. I think that's what's happened. So I don't think I've listened to that one yet. But I'm getting through them though. I love them.
So in a nutshell, Eckhart Tolle and I then, ripped what he said. He basically was talking about how if you went to the movies and the stereotypical hero's journey, movie starts, everything's good for the hero, and middle of the movie, everything's good for the hero, and end of the movie, everything's good for the hero. No one would go to the cinema movie to watch that.
That's true.
And yet we unintentionally have a resistance, almost an unintentional arrogance to our life somehow be like that movie. And although it's frustrating when we're in it, the fact is we, as a society, spend millions of pounds, billions of pounds even per year to go prior to like Netflix and stuff, go and watch movies where we're going to watch struggle.
Right.
Will he, won't he make it? We pay to watch it because we, to some degree, know that is what we know, that's what life is. It's a movies are a reflection of life. And yet to think that life isn't meant to be like that, the challenge with that is an inability to accept that is the very thing, not you, but people in general, me included. It's the inability to fully accept that keeps us stuck. So and I had this in a coaching call yesterday, as long as we intellectualize acceptance, like I'm not mocking you, Darcel, I'm mocking people in general, including myself. Yeah, I know there's a lesson to be learned here deep down. I know there is. Like, if we intellectualize acceptance and we aren't really accepting, then everything will always just feel like a struggle rather than it's just life. Like, it is what it is. There's no way around it. And the more I face reality that if I overcome a challenge, I'm going to get another one, then it just makes me kind of more like I'm in the Olympics, I'm running hurdles, I've just jumped over one, and now I'm bracing myself for the next one. So it doesn't matter what's going on, without getting into details for privacy, but it doesn't matter what's going on in your life right now, I guarantee you're going to overcome this. I guarantee it. And then you're going to overcome it, and you're going to get another one. And it may be even harder than the one you're going through right now, which is why the ability to accept it is so important. Because isn't it true that we've all had challenges, overcome it, and then we get another one that's even bigger? That's just life. That's just the way it is. And it's so important that we get used to that, because that's reality. Not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be easy.
Yeah, I think I'm at that stage where this is one of the bigger ones for me to overcome. Because everything's different now. It's not just me. I've got dependents, and okay, my love, I wouldn't. So I think this is one of the bigger ones, and you're right. And that actually, sorry, I just got bitten. That the Eckhart Tolle. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if you can hear me. The minute you said this is one of the bigger ones, there was a little voice in my head that went, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like, I'm like, so I don't want to jinx, but my mind has immediately gone like we're all gonna lose or like parents. We're gonna get a phone call, someone really significant's died in a tragic accident. Like, so I'm always really careful to say what is and isn't, to not like, I've just got to think about jinxing things and stuff. But the fact is, there is I don't think there's any levels to challenges. It's just about going, this is what it is, this is hard.
Yeah, I think I was comparing it to I guess the things that I have overcome, but you're right though. You're right. There will always be something bigger. Yeah.
Going through this now, I bet the you that's going through this now the Darcel that's going through this right now wouldn't have maybe had the strength to go through it if it was Darcel version 10 years ago.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
So you're getting the challenge that matches the level of growth that is proportionate to the level of growth that you are at right now.
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah, but you're right. And I do know this. I do know that I will get through it because it's what we do, right? There is no other option. So it's just riding out this period. And I think that the thing that I battle against is, even in the accepting that, there is still a part of me that's like, okay, you've accepted that, you know this, but then what do you do in the meantime? Do you know what I mean? I always feel like, well, there should be something. There's something I can do. There's something I should be doing. I have that same battle in my head when it comes to faith. I do have faith that God is in control of my life. 80, a little bit quiet for mama. That God is in control, and there are certain things that I've just given to him. But then, do I just give them to him and sit back and do nothing? Like, what's the thing that I'm supposed to be doing in the meantime? Like, surely there should be something. So I always come up against that. And then I go down that rabbit hole of beating myself up where, well, you have to do something. And then it's just figuring out what that something is. So that's always been a bit of a struggle area for me.
Yeah. Well, I think we spoke about this a few weeks ago, I think, with the saying from the Bible, faith without works. Without works. You have to do, but it's then about trusting once we've done the work. You know?
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, I came on a very timely moment when you were saying that to Barrett. That was really useful to me. So I'm just going to get through this season. But then, of course, you know, there's things that I need to do, you know, because, you know, I got to live. And so there are things that I will be able to factor in, like being able to do the stuff that, you know, I'm doing with you. There's room for that, but there's not room for me sitting down and doing trailers. And there's not room for that right now. And that's okay. Yeah.
Any Barrett, Hillary, and Arcel, any other questions before I think we wrap up early tonight? Any other questions?
At the moment.
Good. All right. So we'll wrap. Hope you've enjoyed the session. Post in the group your biggest lesson or takeaway if you can. We'll be back on next Tuesday, and obviously we have Life Map on Friday. If you can make it, highly recommend you get yourself a new updated Life Map. You never do that workshop too much. So if you're available, make sure you're on the Life Map. All right, that's it. Have a good rest of your evening, and if I don't speak to you, I'll see you Friday for Life Map or next Tuesday.
Thanks, Miles.
Bye, ladies. See you soon.